other like this, we keep loving each other like this, we keep going out and battling like this, I promise you, bro. I promise you, bro. It's the top and we ain't stopping. Yes, sir. And we ain't stopping. Yes, sir. Grab me on me. Jags on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. All these sacks, the QB scared of dropping back. Get 'em in, go attack. From the kick off to the finals now. We all peak, win the city. SCIA turned up, baby, tune in with me. UCF Jag, the real blood. All you need to know right here, I'm talking real loud, babe. Start Adam, Chef, Kenny Jags. Till it really on point, no pump face. PCs to the house, new beat, drop it now. YouTube for my day news, then my go-to, never take down. What's in it, got nothing on it. Doubt my squad, put something on it. Tell her AFC South, we run it. Get the ring fitted, cause we coming for it. Strip, sack, touchdown. I better run now. It's 4 down, go punt now. Cut through Duval, get stunned down. Yeah. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go. Strip, sack, touchdown. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, go.
Touchdown! DJ Chark, the over-the-shoulder grab.
Mike Leach basically said, hey, you want to lead the country in passing? Issue. Deep ball. Separation. DJ Chark. Chark with a stiff arm on board. And Chark is still going.
There's J.J. Watt. Minshew down the sideline.
And what's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another UCF Jaguar live stream. I was planning on doing like a video tonight, but I was like, you know what, man, I gotta hit the live on here, man. Haven't done a live stream in a little bit. I did a poll last week. Actually, quickly, I'm gonna give some shout outs real quick. We already got 46 people in here. What's going on, everybody? Robert was the first one in here. What's up, man? Kev B, we got Charlie Boy, the Finesse King. Eddie Clutch coming in clutch with the correction on my little edit error at the beginning. What's up, Predator from here from Texas, man? What's up, Josh Burns? What's going on, man? Oh man, we got Gator Chomp. We got a bunch of members. David Bryan, Washington State Jags fan. Gator Chomp. Zach says, "Hey yo, let's get it." What's going on, Cameron? So yeah, like we had I actually ran a poll on a channel last week because I was sitting here, I was like, man, shout out to Skidsy with a $5 donation. Thank you so much, man. I was trying to kind of get a feel of where you guys are at when it comes to what kind of content you guys like the most, between live streams versus versus like videos. And the votes are in. Let's see how much I got. So I had a total of 1,100 votes. 49% liked videos the most, 7% live streams, and 44% doesn't matter. So about half of my audience prefers do videos. So I just been pumping out videos, man. So I definitely been focusing on that. But I honestly, live streams are the most fun for me. So I wanted to come on here today and definitely do a live stream. So that's what we're here to do, man. What is up? Thanks again, Skidsy, for the donation, man. Can't thank you enough. What's up, Rico Suck? What's going on, my man? Gary Lawrence. Dude, what a perfect name to get a Trevor Lawrence jersey. Imagine your name your whole life is Gary Lawrence, and then a generational quarterback comes by named Trevor Lawrence and just happens to go to your team. Oh man, I'd be getting one jersey in every color if I were you, man. But welcome. Live streamers, what's up? Hell yeah. Yo, but okay, so today the big news is that the Jaguars are looking to probably sign Tim Tebow, it looks like, which is crazy. And I put on Twitter today, I was like, 6 months ago, it was like Marone, Caldwell, and Minshew. And 6 months later, we have Meyer, we have Urban Meyer, Tim Tebow, and Trevor Lawrence. It's like, man, this is, this completely turned around, man. It's crazy. But, Tim Tebow's coming in here. I know a lot of people hate it. A lot like me, I'm coming in a situation like this. Like literally, I have zero expectations from Tim Tebow because essentially what it is, it's a no risk type of thing. We signed to a 1-year veteran minimum type of deal, and if he comes in here and he's not good, then we cut him. You know what I mean? I mean, he's taken one roster spot out of 90 players on a team with like relatively no tight ends. So, hey, Jaguars United, what's up, man? Yo, if you want to join the stream, just holler at me and I can hit you the link and we can maybe do an impromptu live stream over here. But shout out to Jaguars United, man. He says Tebow's his guy. David Bryan with a $5 donation. Tebow, a Jacksonville Jaguar. Anybody want to get his jersey? And it's funny, you donated $5, which Tim Tebow will probably wear the number 5. So I don't know if you did that on purpose, but yeah, I mean, I think, with Minshew wearing number 15, that's going to be the whole controversy, man. Dude, I got this fly all over my lights right now. I want to smack it, but I don't want to punch my camera on accident. I'm not big on this stuff. But thank you, David, for the donation. But yeah, I mean, Tim Tebow, I mean, it's a situation where, oh snap. All right, guys, we got something in the works here. I'm gonna potentially bring in a Jaguar celebrity. So let me, you guys might know him. You guys might know who it is because I did just mention his name about 2.5 seconds ago. But let me bring him in here real quick. Jags. One second, guys. This is the moment when I need a producer. All right, now what I have to do is I have to get my Bluetooth going. Got to plug my Bluetooth in so I can hear him. So give me 1 second. We're getting Jason in here, man. Let's get it. All right, got that. Let me make sure. I'm just glad I did this on StreamYard, or else I probably wouldn't be able to get him in here. All right, cool. All right, perfect. All right, so the link is out to him. So we'll see when Jason joins. But shout out to him, man. Eddie Clutch says Jaguars United. Spoiler alert. Yeah, they know it's United. I just happened to say, hey, you want to jump in? And then I said, oh, guys, we might have a famous celebrity coming in. I haven't done a live stream with him since before the draft, so it should be. I gotta catch up with him on how his streams and stuff like that went. Josh said Jason's awesome. Junior Jags press hold. Tim Tebow make the roster. I tend to think no, but we'll see. All right, guys. I wish I had a cool soundboard for this or some cool noises, but I'm just bring him in here, man. We got Jason in here. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? How's it going, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Can you hear me all right? I mean, I wasn't set up for this, so I hope it's all working.
Can hear you.
Oh, excellent.
I just got to zoom myself out because my head's huge compared to your body right now. So,
that's awesome.
There we go. I think this is good. But what's going on, man? I haven't talked to you since before the draft, so I got to ask you, how was your draft live stream over at the Philly bar?
Dude, it was wild, bro. It was wild. I mean, we had a bunch of people come out. It was the bar was crowded, the restaurant was crowded. The ETN pit kind of left us kind of talking a little bit, but we all left having a good time, and it was just a fun overall time.
Dude, it was so funny because I remember watching your live stream like the day before, and then someone was like, what's the disaster scenario for you? And he's like, I don't know, if we get like ETN or something. I'm like, oh my God, it happened.
Oh yeah. I mean, with draft picks, my first reaction is always wrong. So I always feel a certain way about a player. And then after I think about it, I feel the opposite way, both good and bad. So at first I was a little confused, and then I started thinking about it. And I was like, dude, Urban Meyer doesn't give a crap about James Robinson or any of these guys, dude. He wasn't here with these guys. He's bringing on his own people. So
it was funny because there was a few times where I brought up the name ETN in streams and stuff like that, but then I didn't really go into it too much. I just kind of said, this is someone that maybe, but then I because I really thought the Jaguars, if they went offense, they're going to go Tony. You know what I mean? I thought that was going to be the pick, and if not, then because honestly, one thing that I should stop doing so much, because usually they're not right, is I read all these experts have Barmore, Merrick, that's where the value is going to be. But, and then I sit here and I'm like, damn, literally in 2020, I basically predicted the Jaguars first round. And I could have, if I went out on my own limb and didn't feel like, I need experts' advice on who to pick, then I think I could have nailed it.
Dude, I saw an interesting thing, dude. Mel Kiper Jr. had 4 picks right out of the whole first round. And Todd McShay had 9. Like, that's it. Like, we read all these mock drafts, we look at all these picks, and they get literally 4 to 9 correct. So this kind of puts in perspective how much time we waste reading what other people think that we're going to do.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. I mean, but the thing was, like, you know, the Jaguar, they needed an offensive weapon. That's one thing, like, everybody kind of thought. But we needed a specific type. Like, we were going to be the team that goes out there and gets, like, who's the Minnesota guy? Like Rashad Bateman or something like that.
Yeah.
Like there were, you know, we didn't need a big, tall, lengthy wide receiver. We needed a guy that's like, you know, essentially like a joystick, like an Atari joystick, a guy that's like, you know, elusive, a guy that's speedy and stuff like that. But we were so focused on that player at the wide receiver position where we didn't even think, oh, this guy could also be a running back that can slide into the slot and can do like a bunch of different things. And, you know, everyone says, you know, why ETN? We have Robinson. Like, I legitimately think that Robinson still gets 15 touches per game. I mean, this doesn't phase him out at all. It's just literally we bring in a whole nother, you know, player to this offense that we don't have right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We do. I mean, we have a 6'3", 265-pound H-back tight end that just joined the team. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
I know. We need that weapon, bro.
Oh, people are like, dude, hey, people hate Tebow, and like people are all going to say all this stuff, and like I get destroyed on Twitter, but all day I've just been like, yo, bring Tebow on, dude. Like, let's go. Like, why are people complaining about Tebow, bro? Like I get it. He's 33 or 34. Everyone says that. I know how old he is, but like, dude, let's do it, man. Like, let's roll with it.
I think they're just reading into it too much, or saying like, oh, like Tim Tebow coming in here, like that's. But literally, he's not taking a roster spot out of 53 players. He's taking a roster spot out of 90 players. You know what I mean? Like, and then if he makes the team, then it's like, okay, then he actually proves something. But the Jaguars aren't going to bring him on and keep him on a 53-man roster because Tim Tebow likes him. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, Urban Meyer's giving him a chance. He wants to, you know, come out here and do something. I'd rather bring him in than maybe like, I don't know, bring in some random scrub that, you know, one of these random scrub tight ends that we just wind up cutting. You know what I mean? It's, you know, everyone's like, oh, you know, I feel bad. We need to open up the spot to somebody else. It's like, why? Like, who cares? Like, a roster spot is not owed to anybody. So go out there and earn it. If these players deserve a roster spot, they're going to be somewhere.
Dude, the people that compare, like, I'd rather have Josh Oliver. Like, dude, you people are just straight haters. Are you kidding me? Josh Oliver is the worst football player that's ever played in Jacksonville. I don't care what you say. You're telling me you'd rather have him than Tebow? That's just someone who hates Tebow because he's Tebow. And look, if you hate Tebow, you're in one of two camps here, okay? The first camp, which I understand, is you're a Florida State fan. So Florida State, he beat you 4 times. You never beat Tebow. You hate Tim Tebow. Dude, I get that. If you're a Florida State fan, you hate Tebow, I get it. It's the people that hate him just because he's like a really good guy that get me. Like, oh, because he's like very charismatic and he has strong faith and he's a good person, I'm going to hate him. Like, what does that say about you as a person if you hate someone just because he's a good person? Like, get out of here, dude. Like, dude. And look, I'm going to drop some knowledge on you here, okay? At Ohio State, Urban Meyer used Nick Vannett, like barely. He threw him like 20 passes, had like 200 or 300 yards. He used Jeff Howerman, another 6'5", 255 guy. At Florida, he used Cam Newton. He ran him the ball like 16 times in 2006. Cornelius Ingram was a converted quarterback tight end that Urban Meyer used as a tight end in that offense in 2006. And he had 32 catches and 450 yards. This is what Urban Meyer does. He uses athletes all over the field. If you hate it, you're a hater. That's all I'm going to say.
You know, it's funny. I'm looking at the Jaguars transactions. On April 9th, the Jaguars sign defensive tackle Daniel Ross.
Where's the outrage about that?
Yeah, where's the outrage about that? I don't know anything about this guy. This guy sucks. I don't know anything. You know, who is this guy? You know what I mean? It's just the Jaguars, they bring on just random players to the roster. You know what I mean? They like, you know what I mean? Like, you couldn't name half of them because you know they're not going to make the team. You see these guys play the 4th preseason game of the year, and you're like, well, all these guys are going to get cut. I mean, Tim Tebow, he's on a big upward battle to make the roster. Do you think he actually makes the final roster?
Honestly, like on the local radio, they said they would be surprised, but I think they were just kind of playing to their audience a little bit because they didn't want to like rock the boat. I think there's a 50-50 chance he makes this roster. Yeah. Look, I mean, how many? I think I saw I have it here somewhere. It was like 15 different people had runs at Ohio State when Urban Meyer was there, and then 14 different people had like receptions. So like they spread the ball out. Why not get a guy who can do that? Look, I mean, it's not like he's been sitting around doing nothing, dude. People are like, oh, he's 33. He's old. But he's been playing professional baseball. Yeah, he's in the minor league system, but he's doing something that like people only dream of. It's not like he's like playing Xbox all day. Like the dude's like been playing professional sports this whole time. He hasn't been, doing nothing. So people just need to relax, dude. Like what's so much hate about Tebow? Blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a cool story. I mean, I'll be, it's going to be cool seeing him in a Jaguar uniform, but honestly, it's almost a no story because like they're kind of, this is like literally veteran minimum 1-year deal. It's just, it's a big story because of the name, but I don't know. It's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to root for him to make the roster. I'm a little less optimistic than you. I think there's like a 25% chance he makes the roster. But we haven't seen him play at all. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think what the Jaguars should do is they should open up have a 3-way battle for like the tight end spot. Bring in Tim Tebow versus Blake Bortles versus like Cordell Jones or something like that, and just have a 3-way quarterback big body battle. Because honestly, when I look at it, dude, I think Blake Bortles might be a better tight end than Tim Tebow. I don't know.
Bortles is too soft, dude. Tebow is a monster. Like Tebow, like here's the thing: is like people are trying to say like Tebow is going to be a tight end. I don't necessarily think he's going to play that traditional role of a tight end that everyone has in their head. I think he's going to play like an H-back, like a guy who can line up somewhere in the backfield. Like Urban Meyer loves what's called 21 personnel, 2 running backs, 1 tight end. To have 2 running backs, like Etienne, great. Robinson, great. But why not have Tebow back there as a lead blocker or someone who can flare out or someone who could do a trick play? The Eagles won the Super Bowl on a trick play, and people people should be excited for this. This is how you win. You're innovative. You do things no one else is doing. I'm pumped for it.
And shout out to Cynthia with a $5 donation. She says, great dialogue. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you so much. And I'm here with Jaguars United. I don't have his links anywhere, but I feel like at this point, everybody probably knows who he is if you guys follow my channel. But yeah, he's out there. Jags United, definitely give him a follow. But yeah, and one thing about the Tim Tebow thing is like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, we got Taysom Hill." I don't really want Tim Tebow throwing the ball. I'll be honest. I don't want a Taysom Hill in this offense. But I mean, you're right. I mean, Jaguars, they'll need a tight end to kind of play as a fullback, but a fullback a lot of times you don't have them because they take up an entire roster spot. So it's kind of a waste to have them. But yeah, I mean, I could see Tim Tebow kind of lining up in the backfield and kind of because honestly, his body type, he looks like more of a fullback to me. But I kind of want to see how he lines up at the tight end spot and just, I want to see him run block. I kind of want to see how he does in that spot. And I also want to see his speed. I want to see, how much juice he has right now because he's never been like, I think he's been deceptively faster than he really is. Like he's really, I mean, he doesn't run a fast 40 time. He's really not that fast of a guy, but I mean, he's almost looks like a natural runner. So he looks a little speedier than he really is, but I mean, he's definitely not like this speed demon.
I mean, he takes good angles when he has the ball. He's a smart runner. He doesn't fumble. You're never going to tackle him for loss. He's always going to at least get to the line of scrimmage. I mean, look, I got to admit, I'm biased, man. I kind of go back with Tebow when he was in when he was in Jacksonville. I was on one of his text lists when he needed some receivers to throw to, and like his trainer is one of my good friends, and he told me that he throws harder than Phillip Rivers. Like he went out there to a camp with Phillip Rivers and Tim Tebow. They all went out west. He said like Tebow has more zip on the ball than like a lot of these guys that we think of as like great passers. So I know passing strength isn't everything in football, obviously. And I don't think Tebow will ever be a passer. But I think what people need to realize is that he's much more athletic than you think. He's not just like a name. He's not just a hype guy that everyone loves because he went to Florida. Like the dude is a freak athlete. Think about the level he achieved in baseball and football. I mean, he had like 32 total touchdowns in the NFL. There's a lot of lists of people who did not have 32 touchdowns in the NFL in their career, and that's what Tebow did. So, and he did it in only 3 years. So, I'm on board.
And big shout out to Rick James Jr. He says Fred Taylor scores on first run with Jags. Another Florida Jags connection. Ocala. Yeah, I mean, I was born in Ocala, so we got that connection here. But big shout out to you, man. But I want to go back to something you said. You're on a Tim Tebow text list. What does that mean?
So the real story is I played flag football with his trainer, and so when Tebow would come in town, Glen Kernan has like a football field / soccer field. Whenever he wanted to like throw or he wanted to just kind of like keep his arm loose, I would be on the text list and meet him out there. We had to all meet in one car at Publix, and then we had to all drive into Glen Kernan together. And then he let us in. Nicest guy.
Wait,
on earth.
he would throw the ball to you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Dude, you've been catching passes from Tim Tebow?
Dude, I picked him off and broke him for a touchdown in flag football. That is a true story. Taking it to my grave. 100%. Picked him off.
Dude.
And guess who I was covering when I picked him off? David Garrard. True story. We were playing. They all live in the same neighborhood. And now Urban Meyer lives there.
I actually did play flag football with Urban Meyer, but I was in
Urban or Tim?
Tim, sorry.
Yeah.
But I was in 6th grade. He came to a nearby church that I would go to. And but I was in 6th grade and he was a senior in high school. So we were like 6 years apart, but it was like a 6th grade to 12th grade, senior high school, big difference. So it was like a hey Mr. Tebow type of thing. But yeah, I did. But I wasn't on his text list. I wasn't out running routes against David Garrard trying to break ankles out here, dude.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's pretty. Awesome. You gotta, now that you're on the text, I mean, you gotta forward him to StreamYard.
Used to be.
Okay, so you can't hypothetically forward him the StreamYard link and have him on a
Here's the thing about Tebow is like in reality, like I know he's listed as 6'3", but when you get up to him, he really is only about 6'1" or 6'2".
Oh yeah,
but he's so thick that like he makes up for it in muscle mass, and you're like, dude, I don't want any part of this guy. He is so thick. I mean, legitimately one of the most athletic humans I have ever been around in my entire life. 100%.
It's funny because I have a picture with him. I actually posted it on Instagram today. It was a picture of me like when you had this Heisman Trophy there. It was like after he graduated Florida, and he was like right before the draft. And I have a picture with him, and like I'm looking at it, and I think I was a junior. I think I was a sophomore in high school. And I'm looking at it, and like we're right next to each other. He's like only an inch or two taller than me. Like I was like, I thought he was a little bit taller, but I was like, damn, like me as a 16-year-old is only like an inch or two shorter than him. It was, I don't know, it's kind of interesting, but yeah, we don't want to bog down the entire show on Tebow.
Oh, I thought that's what the show was.
It was a little bit.
I still have a couple more stories. I'm just kidding.
We can go back
any more
to
stories.
There's gonna be someone that will make a comment, and I'll look at it and I'll highlight it and we'll talk about it. But I do want to talk about probably bigger news. Wednesday the schedule gets released. I'm gonna display on the screen real quick a look at the opponents. I know a lot of people. Actually, let me go here. Let me hide the banner real quick. So these are the list of opponents. Do you think, because before the season, I was sitting here wondering, like, a lot of people were having a debate, will the Jaguars get any primetime games because of Lawrence? I said no, but then now that I'm seeing all these endorsements that what's his face is getting, Trevor Lawrence, it's like, dude, Adidas, he's the first quarterback to sign with Gatorade since like Cam Newton in like 2011. All this stuff. It's like, dude, he's going to be able to get us at least one Sunday or Monday night game. I think we get one Sunday night football game this year. Now, the odds are against us. When you look at the Jaguars haven't actually played a Monday night football game since like 2011, and we haven't had a Sunday night game since 2008. So this would be big if the Jaguars were to get it. But do you think the Jaguars get any primetime games?
Yeah, I do. I think this is what I think is going to happen. I think early in the season, either weeks 1, 2, or 3, there's going to be a Sunday night game between the Jags and the Jets. And I think like Monday night is prime time, but like actually Sunday night is turning into their higher revenue night than Monday, which historically has been Monday, but now Sunday is getting more eyeballs than Monday is. So I think you see Jaguars, Jets on Sunday. I think you see some 4 p.m. games against some of the West Coast teams, like the Chargers, maybe. Although we went out there recently, we don't
play the Chargers this year. We play the NFC West.
Oh, sorry, I thought we don't play the AFC.
We
the
play
Rams,
the Rams this year.
I was thinking the Rams. Sorry, the Rams.
Oh, you're good.
So we might go out west to the Rams, and then maybe Cardinals. I don't think we got to Denver again. We just went out there.
I have a reference on the screen for you of the opponents we play this year, home and away. So,
okay.
Sorry.
Rams. Okay, yeah. So that's why I think that Sunday night game will be away, and then the Chargers game is away, or the Rams game is away as well too. We're still going to the.
I'm gonna take this one away. Okay.
We're still going to the Jets game though, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think the Jets game that has a real chance to be like a week 1 or 2 Sunday night game, because I really do think they're going to try to get, because Jets get Sunday and Monday night games all the time, just because no matter how bad they are, it's because of the Jets. And I think that the Jaguars do try to that the NFL tries to pair Lawrence against Zach Wilson, but I think it'll be early on in the year before historically, if we're talking about historically, and we're not trying to be optimistic. I mean, both the teams are just trash every year, so they want to get that matchup while they're both decent. So maybe a week 1 or 2 type of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that has a potential. I mean, there's always the AFC South type of stuff. I mean, they like to give us the Thursday night Titans game, which we always just get blown out in. But other than that, I mean, the real interesting matchups, I mean, maybe 49ers just with Trey Lance, but, I don't think that's super compelling. Maybe they do a Joe Burrow. I mean, or just like you said with the LA Rams and Jalen Ramsey. And I'm so excited to do a rematch with Jalen Ramsey. Like, now that we have a good quarterback, I would hate to go into that game like with scrub quarterback play, because it's like, man, like Jalen Ramsey can just will probably own us and he's going to be motivated. But I want to dominate him because I know you're a Jalen Ramsey fan. I'm not. I wasn't even a big fan of him when he was on the Jaguars, just because I thought he was so annoying. But I respected him as a player. It was a lot of fun. But I just want to own him. Quick shout out to Brandon Latouche, one of those. But shout out to you, Brandon. Says, I think we have 4 primetime games: Jets, Rams, Bills, and a rival team. I disagree with that. You get 1 Thursday night game a year. I think we get our 1 Thursday night.
It'll be the Texans.
Yeah, we'll get an AFC. Yeah, we'll get the Texans.
Yeah.
And then we'll get hopefully like a Sunday, Monday night game. But I think 2 primetime games.
We're not getting a Monday. I hate to be that guy, but not this year. Next year, but not this year.
I mean, the thing about what we're more likely to get a Sunday night game either early on or later on, because Sunday night games can be flexed out, so they could schedule us like they did in 2018, where they had us against the who was it, the Steelers, and they flexed us out of it. So I think it's similar. But I know I saw one person on Facebook say they think we're gonna get 6 primetime games now. We're gonna have to work our way into that. And I can't even be all that mad that we don't get all these primetime games, because we've been awful. There's nothing more. I would much rather get our ass whooped in the 1 p.m. Slate of games where you can just hide in there, than Thursday Night Football where Derrick Henry is stiff arming half of the defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure. I mean, I get it 100%. I like what he said. If we get 3 games, if we get 3 Sunday afternoon and 1 Sunday night, I think that's realistic. I mean, Thursday night, obviously. So, if you count Sunday afternoons as prime time, I think we'll get 4 or 5, but only 1 Sunday night. If we're lucky, we'll get a Monday night, but why would they?
Well, it's funny looking back, because the Seahawks game, that was a 4:00 game, but I was there and I think back on it and it feels like prime time because it was dark out. It was in that 4:00 window. And since we're playing the NFC West again, which is crazy, because then the 2017 season, we were in the NFC West slate of opponents, and now we're back to it. So that means 2017 was 4 years ago, man.
Yeah, that hurts. Remember that game against the Chargers, dude? How wild was that game?
That was actually the one game. That was the one game that I vlogged at, and I did a really good vlog. I brought a GoPro in, and I was meeting up with my friend because my friend hooked me up with the free tickets. So I was like, hell yeah! And then his tickets wound up. He didn't know this, and we didn't know this. It wound up being in the pool. So we got
my God.
Yeah. So we got to sit in the pool, and then I literally came there with I think I wasn't wearing a bathing suit. I was wearing shorts or something like that, like white shorts. And then I was like,
White
I don't
shorts.
yeah. I was like, I don't care, man. I'm jumping in this pool. So I mean, I was in there swimming and like you could just see through
It's
the
like all
shorts
like
to
translucent.
my boxers. But I really did not care because I'm not gonna not get in the pool because I don't want to show my like I don't care. Like I'll go in there. I'm gonna have fun. I don't care what people think. But yeah, I mean, I have that. Let me see. I'm gonna pull that up actually. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna leave it in the comments so you guys can watch later. There's a vlog from 4 years ago. But it was I mean, it was a lot of fun, and the Jaguars won that in overtime. Awesome game.
Random game, dude. The Chargers blew that game so hard. I mean, they should have won. I think they turned it over twice in the last 2 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. They gave, and then Trey Boston kind of gave the game away by like running out of bounds when it wasn't iced yet. I want to give a quick shout out to Jesus is King with a $5 donation. I want the Rams to come to Jacksonville so Ramsey can get booed. Well, now with the extra NFC game per year, there's I don't know how it's going to line up. Usually, like in the past, NFC teams come to Jacksonville once in every 8 years, so it's like an 8-year rotation when a team comes back. But now with the extra game, I mean, Falcons are coming back, so I don't know. So there's a chance they'll come back sooner than, maybe that. But we'll see, man. We'll see. And another quick shout out to, actually a couple shout outs to It's Reese. Why are they living in the past and trying to revive a once good player who is 9 years removed from the league? And he gave another donation. Why are they not focused on winning to fill the stands versus signing sideshows to fill the stadium? Not the way to get well-respected winning franchise. So do you want to answer that one first?
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it, dude. I mean, I love It's Reese. It's Reese. It brings up a lot of good points all the time. A very good commenter, not only on your channel, but also mine as well. I see him usually brings up a lot of good points. And this is also a really good point as well. I get it. But I just like you kind of mentioned it earlier, like what's the difference? Like here's a question for you. Like, what are the chances the Jags sign someone that's not already on the team that really helps them next year? Like the chances would be pretty slim that they find some guy. Okay, maybe they trade for Njoku, maybe they trade for Ertz. I don't think they do that. And if they're going to do that, I don't think this changes that. But what are the chances that they add someone, a tight end, a third tight end, a fourth tight end, that's going to seriously help them next year? The chances are very, very slim. Okay, so then what are the chances of Tebow making the team? Very slim. But at least Tebow gives you that mentor aspect of a guy who knows how to be a professional athlete. He's been a professional athlete his whole life. He knows how to juggle a bunch of things outside of professional athlete life and family. Why not bring him in? If you look at the statistics, and I'm a big numbers guy, the chances of you adding a guy that's going to help you are slim. The chances of Tebow making the team are slim. Why not try it?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I mean, it's very, very, very low risk. And I think even I think it was 6 or 7 years ago, the Jaguars randomly signed like a 29-year-old like rugby player that had never played the game, but they signed him based on, he had a cool showing out here, and the Jaguars signed him. He didn't work out and they cut him. I mean, if Tim Tebow doesn't work out, there's no risk. I mean, nothing happens. This franchise isn't set back. I mean, it's just, okay, this didn't work out. It was fun seeing him in a Jaguar uniform. We gave him a shot, to kind of revive himself. Like I said, I don't think he makes the roster. I think there's a 25% chance. But, I kind of mentioned earlier, the Jaguars signed some guy named Daniel Ross on April 9th. Like, no one knows who that is. You know what I mean? It's, there's going to be all kinds of stuff. There's going to be guys getting put on the IR, and they sign, somebody out on the streets, just some random player. I mean, it's just how it goes. This is getting blown up a lot just because the name Tim Tebow, but Jaguars have nothing at the tight end position. And I don't know. And when I look at it, everyone says tight end is a big need. It's a huge need, whatever. I think it's a need. I don't think it's that important to this offense because the Jaguars showed no effort to go out there and do anything about it. Like, they let free agents go. They didn't even pass the whole bringing in Jonnu Smith or Hunter Henry. I mean, Kyle Rudolph signed somewhere. These guys, these decent tight ends are signing places. And right now, Trey Burton's on the market. They're not signing him. So I think they say it's a need, but I don't think it's as big as a need to, Urban Meyer and a coaching staff as it really seems to be to the fans.
I think it's very there's a wide discrepancy between a tight end that's really good and then everyone else, because if you can get a guy that can run block and he can leak out of the line of scrimmage and catch the ball and fall down for 6 yards, you can play. If you're a playmaker like Kyle Pitts or any of these other guys that we all know, then you're in a different category. You're in the receiver category. So I think Urban just thinks, look, we got guys that can block. We got guys who can turn around and catch a curl route. We just need someone to protect Trevor Lawrence. Someone that can block for Trevor Lawrence's RPO is way more important than a pass-catching tight end. And that's what Jaguar fans just are not willing to admit for some reason. A tight end that can block the RPO and release, block and release, that tight end is way more valuable than a receiving tight end. But it's not sexy. So Jaguar fans get all upset about Tebow. They want to bring in these other guys through trade. They want to draft these guys like Freiermuth. When the reality of it is we need a guy that can block the RPO. And again, not sexy, but Urban knows what he's doing. He does. He really does.
A big shout out to everyone in here, man. We got 191 people in here, man. I can't wait for these streams to blow up, man, more than they already are when we start winning some games. So definitely drop your likes if you guys can. Let's get this to 100 likes as soon as we can. So YouTube will try to recommend this to more people.
I got you.
Right here. Thank you. I gotta go on all 8 of my burners and like this also. But but big thanks Sarah for being here, man. I know, and shout out to Therese, man. I know. You know, you've been a little bit skeptical about different things this offseason, but hey, man, this is the place where we share our opinions, and this is the place where we give Jags fan a voice, because not many other places do it. I mean. And that's one reason. Reese
is one of the best commenters. I'm gonna just put that.
And he's here whether we win or lose. He's right. He's awesome. And hey, like honestly, at this point, in the last 10 years, if you've been skeptical of if you've been positive at all about the Jaguars, and you've been wrong, which unfortunate. Like if you sit here and say, I don't think this guy's gonna have a good year, you've been right. You know what I mean? Because like the Jaguars they haven't been very good, but hopefully I really do think Urban Meyer turns it around. He's just not a loser. He's never been a loser. I know this is, college, NFL, different things, but at the end of the day, football's football, and he's been able to adjust. And one of the first coaches on Twitter, for example, he knows the way the game works, and he's able to kind of do a lot of stuff. But big shout out to Jimmy Popcorn with a $5 donation. It says, I see ETN and James Robinson like I did MJD and Freddie. They complement each other well. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I think they're completely different players. All 4 of them are completely different from each other, but it's similar, man. I mean, that's a good 1-2 punch. I mean,
I like that comparison. I think about ETN is Freddie and James Robinson is MJD. I like that.
I think they're all. I mean, I like the duos, but I think when I look at them, I see them all as completely different type of players. You know what I mean?
Okay. I mean, James Robinson doesn't get tackled for a loss. He's great between the tackles. Smart runner, sees the holes on the inside zone and outside zone. And then you got ETN that's like Freddie, who's a shake and bake dude and can get outside the tackles and can catch the ball out of the backfield. I like that one. Jimmy.
I think ETN is similar to Fred Taylor, but a lot of people see MJD and James Robinson. I don't see it as much. I think they're both great players, but I think they're great in different aspects. Just because, I mean, MJD, to me, he looked a lot faster than James Robinson, and also I just think how short he was. I mean, he was really, really short. Like he just looked a lot different to the holes, but
that made him harder to tackle. And defenders talked about.
It was awesome.
Defenders talked about how that made it harder to bring him down. So.
I'll never forget when he had a play against the Patriots where he ran. He got knocked on his ass running into Kyle Brady, and then he got up and ran for a 50-yard touchdown. It was hilarious.
All right, I have a question for you, and I gotta just kind of figure this out. And I'm glad you're here to help me. For some reason in my mind, I'm still not sold on James Robinson. Like, am I? Is something wrong with me, or am I seeing something I can't explain? Like. I feel like that James Robinson, he did it 1 year, but like I don't have a ton of confidence for him to repeat it next year. Like, am I crazy or I mean, like, just tell me, what are your thoughts on James Robinson?
I mean, it's not even on James Robinson. It's just the Jaguars offense. Like When was the last time any Jaguars offensive player has had back-to-back great years? Not even great year, good years.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's literally probably been since Maurice Jones-Drew.
yeah,
Like,
him and Mercedes. I mean, Mercedes had a
Because,
Pro
I mean,
Bowl
we've
year.
seen-
Yeah.
We saw Al Robinson have 1,400 receiving yards. Next year, he tailed off. We saw Allen Hurns get 1,000 yards. Next year, tailed off. We saw Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette never put together 2 straight great seasons. I mean, I don't even want to start with our quarterbacks.
Bortles was 17 and 16. I mean, I know 16 was garbage time, but the stats weren't that bad. So I'm just gonna leave it there.
From 16 from 26. No, from 2015 was a great stat year, and 2017 obviously playoffs. So 2016 was awful.
He was a bad stat year.
I mean, stat year. What are we talking about? Fantasy? Where?
No, I'm talking stats, like overall, because it was garbage time. I know it was garbage time, but like he. I mean, Bortles was a numbers junkie. Dude. He put up numbers.
Well, 2015 was a number junkie year.
That was the year with A-Rob and
where he had like 30. I think he had 4,300 passing yards with 30 or 35 touchdown passes. And then the next year he tailed off a lot. But I mean, he was always like a great fantasy quarterback because he would get 40 yards rushing, and he would throw for a ton of, passing yards. He'd have 1 interception, which in fantasy football interceptions aren't even that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I would pick him up, and I don't know this year. I wonder, I'm trying to wonder who I would pick up in fantasy football this year, from the Jaguars. I don't know. It seems like there's just a lot of, I don't know if I would trust getting James Robinson because, last year he was the whole entire offense. I think Trevor Lawrence might be the most attractive.
Well, okay, I think James Robinson ends up being the highest drafted guy. I mean, I think that's a given just because of the stats he had last year. I mean, he was a RB1 last year. So because of that, even if he tails off a little bit this year, I think he's going to be the highest. He was RB1 last year. He's going to be the highest drafted Jaguar. Laviska really came on strong fantasy-wise at the end of the year. I think Laviska is going to be liked. You already see him getting some kind of publicity from some national media writers. He's not as under the radar as people think. So I think Viska goes second. Marvin Jones is a fantasy beast. I think he'll end up going. I mean, with the Lions, he's been a wide receiver 1 the last 2 or 3 years. So a couple guys on the offense, I think.
Yeah. Big shout out to Brandon for another $5 donation. The Jags put Henderson and Griffin as our outside cornerbacks and have Campbell with the nickel with Cisco and Jenkins as our safeties. What do you think? I mean, I think Cisco and Jenkins definitely starting safeties. And I made a video about this last week. I really think to start off the year, it's going to be Henderson and Griffin outside and then Campbell and a nickel. But I mean, I could see the start of 2022. Maybe they swap Henderson and Campbell and play Campbell on the outside. What do you think?
Now,
does Campbell, does he look like he doesn't look like a nickel to me.
No, so Campbell, I mean, he played some nickel at Georgia. He did. Georgia was weird. They would randomly take him out. It was so weird. They would randomly take him out. They had 3 pretty decent corners, and it seemed like Kirby Smart wanted to give them all reps. So, randomly for series, he would take Campbell out. But Campbell is a excellent press corner. So I don't know what Urban Meyer wants to do. I don't know what they want to do on defense. But wherever they want to press, Campbell will be there. One of the best press corners I've ever seen. Jalen's actually the best, but Campbell's up there. He's pretty good. I mean, you got to think they got him at the top of the second round. He's a good player. I think with you have Henderson is so athletic. He's going to cover the best wide receiver. He's just super sticky. So he's going to follow the 1. So I think what happens is Henderson follows the 1. You have what's his name? Griffin plays the boundary, the opposite boundary, and then Campbell takes the other guy, whether that's boundary or nickel. And that's a great situation to be in as a defensive back. I really like our defensive backs now. I love that pick. I mean, that's 3. I mean, we honestly, I know this is bold. We have one of the best defensive back units in the league because we have 3 guys that would be 1 or 2 on every other team. Think about that. 1 or 2 on every other team, and we have 3. So I'm pumped about our DBs.
I mean, it's crazy that we week 1 next year, we're probably going to have an 80% defensive back turnover rate from last year.
Yeah.
I mean, the only player that's staying there is CJ Henderson. I hope we stay healthy because I really don't want to see Wingard with his hair flapping around out there. I don't want to see these like Doug Middletons and like, oh my God, it was like we were just trotting out anybody and everybody last year. And I think, and then someone gave me a hard time because, I said CJ Henderson had a decent year last year. Like he had some good games, but he had some bad games. But then someone was like, oh, he was horrible last year. He was a bust. Like, you didn't actually watch games. And I'm like, well, first of all, like he was a rookie. So let's calm down a little bit. And also, dude, our defensive line was atrocious last year. It was awful. We were getting, especially later on in the year, we were getting no pressure on the quarterback. And like, dude, they were just sitting back there and picking apart these awful defensive backs. I mean, quarterbacks must have just been so excited to play the Jaguars with just how awful, the D-line and the defensive backfield was. It was horrible.
There was like mini statistics last year where our defense ranked worst of all time in. Think about that. Like multiple statistics that we ranked worst of all time in. Like that is horrible. It's a passing league. They're protecting the offense. Still, they're the worst of all time in a lot of categories. I'm glad there's turnover. That defense was pathetic last year. They could not do anything. I like Andre Cisco. I'm a little nervous because him and Campbell weren't great tacklers. And I think you have to be a good tackler to play in the NFL. I think that's more important than covering, honestly. So Cisco and Campbell have to be able to be more willing tacklers. Jenkins is a very willing tackler. He's a very good safety. Cisco, I mean, they played a cover 2. Campbell played mostly in a cover 1. Griffin played in a cover 2. Jenkins was more of a cover 2. So I don't know. It's going to depend on what Urban wants to do. It's hard for me to project what's going to happen until I see what defense Urban runs next year.
Sometimes with the whole tackling thing, sometimes I wonder like how much, because a lot of times we do see defensive backs coming to the NFL and, you worry about their tackling, because they're not super willing tackler. Then they get into the NFL and it's like they're tackling everybody. So I wonder how much of it is like making a business decision because they know, okay, like, like for example, Cisco, like he knows he's going to be probably a second round pick or something like that. Obviously he fell to the third, but I don't know when it comes to live action, I don't know how much in their head they're thinking like, okay, like preserve my body because I know they want to win games, but Syracuse was awful last year. I don't know how much he was really wanting to put his body out against, and kind of, I don't know, because CJ Henderson, it was a big question with him. Like, oh, this guy can't tackle. They went into the NFL and he was like, I thought he was pretty damn, I mean, I wasn't breaking down the games like I used to because I just didn't want to rewatch these games. But I mean, he was going in there and making some plays last year, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, there is a certain aspect to that. But you got to think about a guy like Donovan Darius. I mean, that was a guy who was a willing tackler, and he was, a really good player for a long time. Yeah, but not the same time. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe there is that aspect of I'm not going to get hurt, but freaking Cisco tore his ACL. Yeah. I mean, whatever it was. So it's like, yeah, you can have that mentality, and maybe that does happen. But these guys, like, I mean, that's dumb because you're still going to get hurt if you're going to get hurt. I mean, literally, almost all of our draft picks are coming off of either an opt-out or an injury. So, I mean, hopefully they evaluated them right. I mean, he does hit hard sometimes, but then sometimes he just like doesn't want any part of it. Like, it's weird. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is the college thing. Maybe, I mean, that makes more sense to me now.
Because, I mean, especially when you're on Syracuse, because I think they had one win last year and they were out of like all the games. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like how much, like if they're losing by, 28 points and you see ETN running down at you, like, I mean,
he didn't play last year. He only played in 2 games last year.
I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, they were decent the year before. That defense was actually pretty impressive. That Syracuse defense was actually doing really well that year. I mean, they had a lot of athletes on that defense. Cisco's playing style is really like a traditional strong safety, and so is Rashawn Jenkins. And so I'm interested to see what they do. Again, I just don't know what they're going to do. Like, he played that middle of the field free safety, but he wasn't very effective in pass coverage. So I don't know if that's what the Jags are going to do, because if they are going to play him that middle of the field free safety, he's not going to be very effective against NFL level receivers. But if they're going to play him in the box and he's going to read the shallow routes, I think he is effective. That's what Rashawn Jenkins does too. So good players. Let's just see how it shakes out.
I'm really excited just to see what Joe Cullen does with this defense, because dude, like Todd Wash, that defense was just I mean, like I was saying, like, like offenses probably go into these games like, dude, this defensive line sucks, this defensive back sucks. But overall, the defense coordinator was so predictable. Like, it was just awful. And I'm just so excited someone's going to come in here, new creativity. He's probably going to go out here and, throw some dime coverage in here, throw all kinds of crazy defensive line blitz schemes when it comes to, different. I don't know. I'm just excited for, some fresh blood to come in here and do some of this defense.
Look, I'll die on this hill. I know people like to say that there's like, these guys are bad coaches, Todd Wash, Gus Bradley, but really at the end of the day, it comes down to who you have on your roster. These same guys win with their same defense with different players. Gus Bradley just got a promotion. So, I mean, like, it depends on who you have. The Jaguars had nobody on this roster last year. James Robinson surprised us. Okay. Miles Jack surprised us. But outside of those two guys, you had nobody on this roster. So I don't think you can really hold these coaches really too much responsible for the team when the team was intentionally trying to get Trevor Lawrence, which I'm okay with. But I'm slow to blame coaches and schemes when time after time. Look at Jack Del Rio. We ran his ass out of town. Tom Coughlin ran him out of town, and they go on with the same philosophies and win Super Bowls. So it's Jimmy's and Joe's, and you're right. There's huge roster turnover. I'm glad because the roster last year was pathetic.
Yeah, but I mean, I fault Todd Wash because he wasn't willing to adapt. Like, he literally said, as long as I'm the head coach, I'm the defense coordinator here, we're running a 4-3, as opposed to usually coaches come in and say, okay, I'm going to build my defense based on the roster that we have. And, I'm not saying we should have completely switched to 3-4, but I don't think we should go out there with this closed-minded mindset that, especially like you draft Caleb Von Chase on, and then, a guy that played so out of position under Todd Wash's system. So it's like, maybe Todd Wash doesn't want, to change up his defense, but I would wish there was some kind of collaboration between him and Dave Caldwell about what the goals are, or else maybe they wouldn't have drafted him. I don't know. It's just, and that's one thing I do seem like I like about Urban Meyer. It seems like there's a lot of communication between all levels. And, Urban Meyer said that, like, that's a big emphasis. We're going to be, constantly in communication with each other. And it just seemed like there was, with where it was last year, it was, and just years before, it just seemed like there was too much of a pecking order. It was like, okay, Todd Wash is going to need to talk to Doug Marrone, and Doug Marrone needs to talk to Dave Caldwell, who's going to talk to, like, Tom Coughlin. You know what I mean? Like, now it just seems like there's a much more collaborative effort where there's Shad Khan and then kind of the rest of the group just one level below him.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I mean, the thing that you said with Urban Meyer being like the head honcho, I'm a huge fan of that. You look at guys that have been really successful, like Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, these guys that have given carte blanche power, they do well. Sometimes they don't. The Chip Kellys, they don't do well, but you have a better chance, I think. So I think you're spot on with that.
And I don't know. I just like, because one thing about Urban Meyer, and big shout out to Clifford. He says, good discussion. Clifford, the big red dog. No, I'm joking.
I like that bucket hat, Clifford. I'm a big bucket hat guy myself.
Yeah, dude, he's out here with the bucket hat, dude. I like it. I need to go more. I need to go outdoors, man. I need to get myself a bucket hat so I can.
I need to go outdoors to get a bucket hat.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I can't. I'm not gonna rep one inside. I'm not a bucket hat guy. I'm more of like a sombrero type of like beach hat.
Okay, I like that.
I'm not as much on the but I respect the bucket hat hustle for sure. But yeah, one thing I do really like about Urban Meyer is that it just like, he seems like he does have a willingness to adapt, because like, and he learns from people, he talks to people, like he uses his, he's not afraid to reach out and talk to people and see what they think about things. And, he reaches out to, executives, to coaches, to players, current players, former players, like, analysts, the former, like all kinds of people. Like, he's really, I feel like, putting in his work, to be just a great coach. And I think it's under talked about. And I don't know. I feel like I read everywhere where people are just like so downplaying just the fact that the Jaguars have Urban Meyer and, oh, Trevor Lawrence overrated, he's going to be a bust. It's like, dude, like there's just so much of this just negative energy. It's like, dude, I just and the great thing about the NFL is that we can debate about who's going to be great, but ultimately they're going to be able to play themselves out. That's one thing that sucks about other things. Like, we can sit here and debate which president is going to be the best, but we're not going to be able to see it play out. I'm happy that, we're going to be able to see this play out, and hopefully we can be laughing at everybody when we're winning Super Bowls.
Well, I mean, Jaguar fans have been down for so long that they've learned to hedge their bets so they don't get their hopes up. We got our hopes up in 2017. You get your hopes up with Bortles when he starts popping off. So Jags fans have just been hurt for too long, and they're so used to playing the victim that when things are starting to look good, like you got Urban Meyer, a coach that literally every team would have taken 2 or 3 years ago. You got Trevor Lawrence, a quarterback that everybody wanted 2 or 3 years ago. Jaguar fans are so used to playing the victim that they're not willing to accept the fact that we have an amazing situation going on here in Jacksonville. And it's going to take some wins, and it's going to take some playoff wins for them to buy in. But when they do, it's going to be a freaking crap fest around here because there's going to be so many fans running around Jacksonville and Florida that it's going to be insane.
Do you think that, because I've had this debate with people, do you think that if the Jags had a number 2 pick, if Urban Meyer would be here?
I don't think he would.
I don't think so either, man.
I think he would have been in New York. Honestly, you don't think the Jets interviewed him for that? I know Saleh got hired first, but do you think they were like, oh, yeah, Robert Saleh is our guy. Urban, we don't want, no, anyone would have taken Urban Meyer. And he took this job because of Trevor Lawrence. It was an amazing situation. Combine that with the cap room the Jags had, to him, it was probably a no-brainer if he had any itch at all to come back. So we just, look, man, we've been so unlucky for so long. It's about time that we got ours,
I think it was the Jaguars or nothing, to be honest with you. Because he already had a relationship with Shad Khan and they had been talking. And I really believe, because he said that they talked at the Super Bowl, last year. And I really think that conversation impacted Shad Khan so much to where he was he was probably talking up the crap out of, Trevor Lawrence and about how this guy is the next real deal. And he's like, you got to do what you can to get him. And then all of a sudden, literally Urban Meyer said in this press conference, which I really appreciate how transparent Urban Meyer is with his stuff. He said that, look, the Jags had the number 1 overall pick, and this is by no accident. Shad Khan had control of this roster. So it's we all were shitting on Dave Call or just Shad Khan, oh, you don't care if fastest owner to 100 losses. But dude, he set us up in a position where he foresaw this whole entire thing. He kept Dave Caldwell and Doug Marrone around. We were all like, why? We need new coaches in here. But he knew, look, we could be on the brink of something big next year if, we can bring in Urban Meyer and get a number 1 quarterback. And I firmly don't believe that, I think Urban Meyer's telling the truth. That has to be a perfect situation. I think the Jaguars, in Jacksonville, he said he likes Jacksonville. He likes Shad Khan. He gets Trevor Lawrence. I do really think everything aligned perfect for him to make a return. When Shad Khan started shipping out Pro Bowlers for late round draft picks, you knew that he had something in mind. And you and me, we do stuff for the fans, and we don't want to sit here and be like they're tanking, because that's horrible. But that's really what they were doing. And we actually came around to it pretty soon. It was probably week 3 or 4. We were like, okay, they're tanking. At least we're getting Justin Fields, right? And that's what we would talk about for weeks. And then it turned into Trevor Lawrence. And it's like, yeah, you can hate on them all you want, but the strategy might have paid off more than people want to admit. And look, we're in a great situation here. So just glad you and me get to be the recipients of that. Yeah, I think people should appreciate, because I know YouTubers that will say, look, I want my team to lose, but I don't want to admit it. I don't want to go out here and say that to to my fans. But I'm I don't I will be 100% transparent with everybody about how I feel about things. I was openly on the tank in week 3, and I was like, look, I'm sorry. I got to root for this team to lose. I know what's best for this team long term. I'm rooting for this team to lose because I love the team. And I know this is going to set us up for the best success. And it's just funny that people that, were kind of hating on me are all now so excited to have Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, it was funny when Justin Fields was the presumable draft pick. you saw these polls on Twitter. Would you rather win or take a quarterback? All this stuff. And then Trevor Lawrence was like, oh, worth it. He's like, the tone changed so much with Trevor Lawrence. I love it.
Dude, that will be that's like a top 5 football day for me when the Rams, lost that game against the Jets. Like,
Jets are so dumb.
Oh
Jets
my God.
That
That
was
was
so dumb.
I mean, the thing is, if it was the Cardinals in that situation or like any other team, they want to mess it up. But it's the Jets, dude. They are just the epitome of, as bad as the Jaguars have been, they have been more dysfunctional than the Jaguars. And I just can't believe. And like literally Adam Gase and stuff was just trolling the fan base. Like he literally said that, that was like more, that was greater. That was a greater moment for him than winning the AFC Championship game. So, I mean, it was crazy.
Greg Williams tried to throw it. Greg Williams, most veteran coach on that roster, tried to throw the game against the Raiders and did. Then he got fired for it. So,
yeah, that was crazy. Just the zero blitz stuff. Like, oh my God, I really did think that. Like, I don't know. It was just, and then they fired him. I was like, dude, what is going on here? This is like outrageous.
Why would they fire him? He literally did what he should have done in that situation.
And it was funny because like literally the Jets fans after they beat the Rams were like, dude, we need to fire Adam Gase now that he ruined the tank. But it's like you can't fire him after they win. And the next week they beat the Browns, and it's like, oh wait, now we definitely got to wait till the season's over. But man, dude, talk about getting the rug pulled out from under you, man. Like you had 3 games to go, and then you lose out on that.
Yeah, that would be tough because you got to think there's a bunch of Jets fans and people like us that were rooting for the tank all year. And then, like you said, what a ugly franchise they are right now. Who knows? Maybe Zach Wilson will be good.
Oh, I'd just be devastated. Like, I was with my Jets friend. Bo, can you lay down? I got a big mouth breathing dog over here. Not good for the audio, but yeah, I mean, I was streaming it with the Jets fan just to draft, and I'm like, dude, if I was switching positions, I would just be like, just watching Trevor Lawrence go to the Jaguars, and just knowing that we could have had him. Oh my God, like, I just feel bad. Like, and I didn't text them after it happened because I was like, dude, I like because if I were in a position and the Jaguars were there, I don't want anybody texting me. You know what I mean? I don't want to be messed with, and like, I didn't do it to him. Hey, he just happened to jump into my celebration stream. I was like, dude, I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I would have been inconsolable if the roles were reversed for sure.
And like he gave me like a Jet Central shirt for his channel, and I like midstream I went and like changed into a Jets shirt. Like I was like, "Go Jets, baby!" JETS.
Oh no! Oh, just rubbing salt in the wound.
Yeah, it was
tough.
It was pretty bad. Yeah, well, Jags for life. Jaguars versus Jets game going to be awesome. Yeah, I mean that should be the primetime game.
I am 100% going to be at that game. 100%. I got a buddy from New York. We've been planning that literally for a year and a half. So I'm going to be there. So it should be a good time. A bunch of people in your chat the first time we talked about it said they were going to be there too. So maybe we could all meet like a bar or something and do something fun or something.
Dude, hell yeah! Or like find like a tailgating spot. They have. Yeah. I've been to MetLife. It's a cool. I mean, they have a. It's weird out there. It's really just a stadium.
Yeah.
It's literally just like I guess they bought like a big plot of land in New Jersey and just they have MetLife there. Then they have like the Giants practice facility. But it's really weird. Like. It kind of the environment. I mean, it's a great stadium, but it just sucks there because like they share the stadium with the Giants, so there's no real home field. Like it doesn't really feel like you're in the Jets or Giants place. It just feels like you're in an entertainment center. I mean, there's not a lot of personality to it. Now the seats are great. Like they have because I always like the nosebleed seats, and the way their nosebleeds set, it's like it's stacked really well. So you'll be in the nosebleeds, but you're closer to the field than you would be like at, TIAA Bank or any of these older stadiums where they kind of build it, section like this and it's up there. It's more like stacked. So you're a lot closer to the field, which is pretty cool. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm just excited. I mean, I'm the second the schedule comes out, I'm buying my plane tickets and we're getting our Airbnb and should be. I mean, that's the game I'm looking forward to the most this year. When are you hoping the game is? Are you hoping September or are you? I mean, the later the better. If like I'm hoping, but I think in reality it's going to be in September, just because they're going to get the most eyes on that game. When the Jets and the Jags haven't played that many, and they're both healthy. There's no telling if one of them gets hurt late in the year.
mean, if both quarterbacks are hurt late in the year, I mean, look at that matchup you're looking at. So I think they're going to put them early, and I think it'll be the first couple of weeks of the season. It'll be a Sunday night game, hopefully September. I'm pumped. Hopefully COVID will be all. I mean, I know New York struggled with COVID and all their policies and things, but I think we'll still be able to have a good time and all that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. When do you think the like with Trevor Lawrence in like training camp, like when do you think he's officially going to be QB1? Do you think he comes in there day one and he's taking starting reps, or do you think they?
Oh yeah,
yeah, I think so too.
Day one.
I don't think they're going to go. I don't think they're going to go through the facade of, oh, you got to earn your spot. Like, no. CJ Beathard's our guy. You know, you got to beat it. It's such a. I really hate the. I mean, I guess if you're Trey Lance with Jimmy Garoppolo, it's a lot different. But like, dude, like Trevor Lawrence is, you know, day one is better than any other quarterback on the roster.
Well, I mean, we're in a unique situation where our quarterback or our head coach is a first-year head coach. So, I mean, he's coming in. He doesn't have a guy he started last year. He doesn't have, you know, he can come in and just be like whatever he wants to do. 49ers, you know, they got a guy who's been there, right? And so there's no coincidence that usually you have a first-year coach and a first-year quarterback starting at the same time. So Trevor Lawrence comes in QB1 at the start of the season, no doubt about it. I'd be surprised. I mean, I can see CJ Beathard getting cut, no lie. He's not that good, and he's a guy that lives on the waivers and lives on the practice squads. So, wouldn't be surprised if he got cut from the 90-man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I see, because it's not like you're gonna play have Minshew start, because it's not like, oh, he has familiarity with the offense. It's like, dude, we have a brand new offense, you know, I mean, brand new playbook, and
he's a better backup than Beathard, isn't he?
Yeah, we'll see.
Are you gonna keep three quarterbacks? I mean.
I would prefer to keep two. I'd prefer to keep two.
I'm just kidding about Tebow, but I mean, you're keeping two, and you have. I mean, you're going to cut Beathard, right? Unless you trade Minshew.
We'll see. I mean, I don't think we're going to trade Minshew, because if we could, we would have already done it.
Well, I don't think so. See, I think weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, one of these teams that have playoff aspirations or maybe don't have a lot of cap room, like it's now or never for them. I think if their quarterback goes down, then
they might need a noodle arm to come in there.
I think Minshew is a top candidate for one of that situation. Minshew's going to have his highest trade. Everyone wants to trade him now. Minshew's going to have his highest trade value in the first 4 weeks of the season to a team who loses their quarterback. 100%.
I'm going to feel bad for that team. That's all I got to say.
I mean, if you're a GM and this year in like the final 2 years of your tenure and your franchise quarterback goes down with an ACL, Minshew might be looking like one of your best options, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
I guess that's true. I mean, he's got some starts under his belt.
Absolutely. He's not going to lose you the game.
Yeah. I mean, he's got some nice stats, man. I mean, he's not going to throw the ball deep. He's not going to put it in dangerous territory. But
exactly, he's going to manage the game. I mean, quarterback managers have been successful forever in the NFL.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap this one up soon, man. We still got 200 people in here, man. Shout out to everybody in here.
Nice.
So it's always hard to end these streams when I have like this many people in here, and I have this many people excited about Jaguar football in May. I mean, come on, man. Like, I'm excited for the season, man. I mean, I know, you know, I hate when people ask me predict how many wins, because with me, it's like, I want to win them all, man. I want to go out there. I'm a week
17.
to week. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, 7-10, because I'm a person like, you know, I'm excited for Sunday. I want to see our team play. I'm going to cheer for them to win. And luckily this year, I don't ever have to. I'm just happy I don't have to cheer for them to lose, because, you know, like I said, even if we're 5-10, I'm going to be rooting for us to win the last 2 games, because we have our quarterback and we have our coach. So, you
there's
know,
no way we go 5-10. No way.
No way.
No, this is too many winners and competitors on this team to go 5-10. I'm sorry.
There's the division is, and the thing's working for us. We don't have a tough division, because the Titans, they might have gotten worse. I mean, first of all, they lost a lot of personnel, but the most important thing, they lost their offensive coordinator. And that's one thing that's very tough if you get a defensive head coach, is because, you know, the Titans, they've been trying to find their offensive coordinator for so long, and they finally find him and he gets a job elsewhere. I mean, the same stuff happens with the Minnesota Vikings. Like, you know, they have Zimmer up there, and then they come in and they have Shermer. He does great. He gets a head coaching job. Stefanski, he comes in, he gets a head coaching job. Now they have Gary Kubiak. I don't know if he's still there, but it's like, you know what I mean? It sucks because you have to bring in these new systems, and, you know what I mean? That's what's tough. And they lost Arthur Smith, so we'll see what happens to them. The Colts, I mean, Colts have a great roster, but Carson Wentz is horrible, dude. He's not good. And
I mean, their roster is okay. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a great roster. I mean, I think they
do good personnel wise. I mean, they signed Eric Fisher today. You know what I mean?
It's trash. It's a horrible signing. Are you kidding me, Eric Fisher? I mean, come on. Look,
I agree.
Their running back, their running back room is terrible. Their receiver room is one guy.
The running back room is terrible, dude. They got Marlon Mack back and Jonathan whatever. Jonathan Taylor.
I mean, I guess it's not terrible.
I'm having week 17 flashbacks where he bent us over and stuck it wherever he wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, that's more the product of the O-line. So, I mean, I don't know. I just still think they don't have playmakers, in my opinion. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's, he's at almost 6,000 snaps for his career as a running back. I mean, how much longer does he have? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too critical.
Carson Wentz is just so bad, dude. Like,
I agree.
Like, to think that they're going to, I mean, I don't know. Everyone's out here talking trash, like all these NFL fans about, about Trevor Lawrence. It's like, dude, look at Carson. The guy's awful. Like, the guy's not going to be back to his regular form. I mean, cool. He has his old quarterbacks coach back. Is that is that going to revive him? All of a sudden, he's going to fix his mechanics because he has his quarterback coach back. I don't think so.
No, I got no hope in the Colts. No, Titans, I think might be okay because I like Derrick Henry and he actually can put the team on his back. Texans are obviously horrible. So division's shaping up nicely. This team's gonna overperform. They're gonna do better than people think.
And another thing working in our favor is the 17th game because the Titans, they added the Saints to their schedule. The Colts, they added the Buccaneers, Super Bowl champs to the roster. We added Atlanta. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that. That extra game.
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I mean, they got Kyle Pitts, but we got Campbell, we got the equalizer.
Yeah, seriously, yeah, we can come.
I was so relieved. When Kyle Pitts got drafted 4 overall because I was like, dude, we wasted way too much time entertaining a trade up for the first non-quarterback to come off the board. You know what I mean? Like,
Kyle Pitts ate Tyson Campbell on a fade route. And
I saw that. But I mean, it was just
ate him up.
I think I saw it on wasn't it your breakdown?
Yeah. Oh man, Kyle Pitts just took him to school.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why you get drafted 4th overall, man.
That's true.
Advantage is usually offense in those situations.
That's true.
Well-thrown ball.
And it was good coverage. I mean, he had his hand between Kyle Pitts' hands and the ball. Great coverage. Kyle Pitts just made an amazing play.
Yeah, like remember that in the AFC the AFC divisional game when like AJ Boye was on coverage with like Antonio Brown or something like that. And Ben Roethlisberger just chucked it deep. And like AJ Boye had his hands like in his like arms. And it's just like sometimes like there's perfect coverage.
Yeah.
But it's just an even more perfect throw and catch. And
absolutely.
That's one thing great about the NFL, man. Just great quarterback play, it's just great. I just love good football. And that's what I want to bring back to, Duval instead of, just getting, and I'm just excited to go to Jags games and be able to watch Trevor Lawrence instead of the crap we've been throwing at quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm so pumped. It's going to be a good year. I'm super pumped.
Yeah, I am too, man. Let's be optimistic. I know there's room for pessimism and stuff, but I'm my passion and sometimes my optimism drives this because honestly, when the Jaguars are sucking, when I look at the numbers for my channel, the worst months for my channel are during football season.
That's hilarious.
because it's just like, am I really supposed to make a preview video for week 14 when we're playing the Browns and we just know we're going to get our asses waxed and we have Mike Glennon as starting quarterback? Like, that's when I really when I heard that, because I was okay with seeing Luton play. Then we benched Luton. It was like Mike Glenn's getting the start. I'm like, oh my God.
You know what? I quit. You know what? If the Jags quit, I quit too. That was kind of my mentality.
I just made a video and you could just so tell how distressed I was. I was like, because at least with Gardner Minshew and Luton, we could kind of, they're young guys, so we can maybe see some new stuff. It's we got Mike Glennon, who's just, the book is out on him. It's just awful.
Yeah.
But one thing I did like about Mike Glennon is at least he pushed the ball deep a little bit. When you go back,
nothing to lose. It was obvious.
When you go back, some of our most competitive games were the games without Minshew. I mean, the Browns game was competitive with Glennon. the Vikings game was in overtime. Even like Houston with Luton, even Green Bay with Luton. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Well, that's because we could run the ball. I mean, James Robinson was a beast last year, and he kept us in games. Defense actually stepped it up, like at the end of the year. Like, I don't know.
Predator says UCF dissing Minshew like he wouldn't have won that 2017 team. Hey, you guys know me. This is if you guys are surprised by me hating on Minshew, then I mean, Predator, you've been watching my channel. You know what's
Predator's
up.
messing with you.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Everyone, people like the West, but at least I'm openly a Minshew hater. Like, yeah. I can admit it. I'm not gonna blow smoke on my ass and be like, oh, I don't hate. I don't know.
I like Minshew. I think Minshew got a bad shake last year, man. I don't think it was even fair. I think he could go somewhere and be good. I'll be honest with you.
Plano Jags says, damn, Dalton's Minshew disdain is tangible. Absolutely. But I can admit it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go on another Minshew rant because I could, and I kind of feel like it, but I'm not going to do it. But all right, guys, we're about to end it here. 1 hour, 15 minutes. Thank you to Jason for just hopping on here.
Dude, what a great night, man. I'm so glad this happened. Thank you for hitting me up.
Yeah, man. I saw him join live stream. Like, hey, man, the link is in your DMs if you want to hop in.
I slid in, baby. Let's go.
I know. He hopped. We slid in the DMs as the kids. Do the kids say that nowadays? I know you're around a lot of.
Yeah, they do. They do for sure.
I don't know if they moved on to the next term.
They probably have, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. You made me feel old last time. I was like, I could probably keep up with the kids, what they're saying. It's like, no,
no, you have no shot.
The TikTok generation. I'm like, yeah, I guess I did graduate high school. I guess it's been 9 years ago now, so I'm a whole decade out of it.
It's crazy.
But all right, guys, thank you for joining me. It's Reese. Says have a great night. Predator is out of here. All right, fellas. I'll see you guys.